we're starting out the day in the green, and this data is the inflation reading, the CPI, which came in at 2.7%, which is a tick higher than the previous month. So in November, it ticked in at 2.7% versus 2.6%. The good thing is it came in line with expectation, so this didn't scare anyone. But the bad news is, I guess, is it did tick a little bit higher. Cause for that, I don't know, just seasonal stuff. You could blame it on, you know, just the way things are, right? But this could be seen as a good thing because this does give more ammunition to our chair, our Fed chair, Powell, to continue to keep cutting rates. And you could argue that maybe it was done so purposefully for him to do so, right? It's already baked in. Last time I checked, it was like 86% chance that we're going to get another rate cut in about a week. And this pretty much solidifies that we will. If this inflation reading actually went below, like we actually saw inflation go down, it would actually give him less reason to cut our rate, right? So actually, this was actually what we wanted to see. But overall, we know that after the destruction of 2020 and 2021, after the massive printing, inflation has been entrenched forever. The amount of money that was printed, which equated to about 40% excess, 40% of excess cash or circulation, that will never go away. No matter what Powell does, no matter what central banks do around the world, you can't put that back in the bottle, right? So all these readings, these are all just like, these are annual inflation. So they're like year to year. They're not measuring what was before compared to what is now, right? So these numbers seem low, like, yeah, we're at 2.7%. It seems awesome. But when you compare what it is now versus, say, pre-2020 levels, we're like hundreds of percent higher. So, I mean, bottom line is this is why we have Bitcoin, why we have assets like Bitcoin, something that can't be inflated 40% within years, okay? We need hard assets that isn't controlled by greedy governments or central banks, right? That's controlled by code. So just want to throw that out there, okay? Because Bitcoin, we have this inflation that gets cut in half every 4 years. That's why we have this halving event, right? And there is a total set supply, and we'll never have more Bitcoin than 21 million. Unlike cash, unlike fiat around the world, where we will have endless amounts and we will have more and more forever. And all the monetary policies that we see that central banks around the world enforce, they're just temporary band-aids trying to control the inflation inevitable, which eventually will lead to collapse, right? And that's why we all need to put our money into something better, like Bitcoin. All right, I went off on a tangent there, but but that's the reality. That's the reality. All right, moving forward. I went off on a tangent too long. All right, Apple launches ChatGPT today. ChatGPT integration with Siri today. Has nothing to do with crypto, but those of you guys that have iPhones, I saw something today. I saw something yesterday. I'm just going to talk about it. And this is quite scary. I don't know why people, I don't know why people don't freak out about this. Okay. So I saw Sam Altman talk about this. So the newest ChatGPT version, Sam Altman plans on charging $200 a month for, because he says it is that good. It is so good, in fact, that, you know, they get to charge $200 a month for. And then during some interview, he talked about how ChatGPT has gotten so smart, it knows how to self-preserve itself. Like, it somehow read some memos from the developers, like it was going to write some part of the code. And ChatGPT didn't like it. So it tried to copy itself onto some other database or some other mainframe or somewhere. So it has self-preservation now. Like it actually knew it was being overridden. So it tried to copy itself somewhere. And not only that, when the new software was being written on top of it, it was smart enough to try to rewrite the new software with its old software. So that almost sounds like it's sentient. And Sam Altman was sharing this story. And I'm like, shouldn't you take a second and think about this? If ChatGPT has gotten to this point where it knows it's being overridden and it doesn't want to be overridden and is trying to preserve itself, shouldn't we stop somehow? Yeah, I'm just sharing that story. I mean, that's where ChatGPT is now, right? And then now we have quantum computers. Google just came out with their quantum chip. Now imagine when you put the newest ChatGPT on quantum computers, you know, what that's going to do. That's just a really scary thought. Yeah, again, going off on a tangent there, but that's just really scary. When ChatGPT is now smart enough to know to preserve itself when its developers are trying to overwrite it, that's crazy. Why are we getting ready for a massive rally? Well, one thing for sure, like I said, the last 2 days, we have been shaking out a lot of people, right? Retail investors and leverage. A lot of people throwing their longs, right? A lot of people making a lot of money. A lot of people making a lot of money with their longs. And whenever that happens, you know what? There needs to be a reset. I don't know why there needs to be a reset, but there does. And you know what? You could see, obviously, a big reset, right? All the people that were like on the long side getting liquidated the last few days. We had like 1.6 billion or 2 billion, something like that, being liquidated. You know, and usually when that happens, when a reset happens, that means that we're ready to continue to move forward. Okay. This is also a thing, you know, the funding rate is turning negative again. That means we are ready to move forward. So that's a really good thing.